But here we go. There you go, Miss Maya. Sorry about that. And I will be sharing my screen and running your slides.
Great.
All right.
So I'm Maya Ingram. I'm the manager of the Statewide HUB program. We're going to go in kind of a backward circle. So we'll be back to the very beginning, to the certification part. But we're going to talk about some of the tips, some of the marketing tips that make our hubs successful. Next slide. Our little agenda for what we're going to talk about. We've already done our welcome and introduction. We're going to get started here in a second. We're going to talk about the resources for business development, some of the regional assistance that we have available to small businesses, and I'll tell you why, and questions and answers. So next slide. That's me. Next slide. That's a very blurred picture of me. Next slide. One more. I don't know why it's so blurry, but let me get into my here. So this slide, right? What this is, if you go to the Texas comptroller.texas.gov page, and you click on the purchasing, which is the white little box on the black bar, it says purchasing, and it brings up a vendor resources list and procurement resources list. Under the vendor resources, you'll have the centralized master bidders list, the historically underutilized business, and the electronic state business daily. Under the procurement resources, you're going to see NIGP commodity book. NIGP stands for the National Institute of Governmental Purchasing Codes. And that's what the state of Texas uses. So we're going to talk about these and what they do. So let's go on to the next slide. The NIGP code, as I said, is the National Institute of Governmental Purchasing. These are the codes that are used in a profile for either the centralized master bidders list profile and or the hub directory profile. They provide a description of your small business. It lists the goods and or services that you provide. And so it gives the purchasers that use the hub directory and centralized master bidders list, it gives them a picture of who your company is and what you do. That's the importance of the NIGP code. The Electronic State Business Daily is where state purchasers for state universities and state agencies will post any solicitation over $25,000. So any solicitation over $25,000 is posted on the Electronic State Business Daily for anyone to see and anyone to read and anyone to bid on. The statewide historically underutilized business program certifies the small businesses and provides and lists those certifications in a hub directory. The hub directory is listed within the centralized master bidders list as a subcategory. And the centralized master bidders list is considered the state's master bidders list. Anyone can be listed on there. You don't have to be a hub. If you want to do business with the state of Texas, no matter how big or how small your business is, you would register on the centralized master bidders list and pay a $70 fee. That fee is for the administration of the centralized master bidders list program and the hub directory. So part of that money does go to support the hub directory, the hub program. I told you about the NIGP codes, and hubs that are certified get their business profile listed in the hub directory list for free. But anyone on the centralized master bidders list has to list for a fee. The hub directory is a sub list within the centralized master bidders list. Any purchasers that are posting on the Electronic State Business Daily must provide electronic notices of the solicitations they're posting. And based on the NIGP codes of that solicitation, they will look for vendors on the centralized master bidders list, get a list, and send an email notification. Some purchasers will include the hub directory and some will only use the centralized master bidders list. The hub programs within the agencies and universities will supplement those notifications, and they tend to use only the hub directory list. So we'll come back to all of this at the very end when we talk more about certification. But these are very important tools in your toolbox if you want to do business with the state of Texas. So let's go to the next slide. Let me get there. Okay. So this slide is basically showing if you go into the controller's page and you see the commodity book, if you want to look for the NIGP codes that would best describe your business, you would go into the commodity code book. You search by keyword, or if you already know what some of those classifications are, you would go here. But on this keyword search, you would do, if you were doing office supplies, you would put office supplies. If you're doing construction related businesses, you would put what that construction is, HVAC, roofing, electrical, whatever your business does, you would pick keywords and find class and item codes. Once you hit the search button, you will get a list of class and item codes, and they could be a little bit different, but you would need to look at the class, which is a general classification of the goods or service, and the item, which is a two numbers that would give you a more specific within that category. So it's a total of 5 numbers that make up the class and item. The class is 3 numbers and the item is 2. Solicitations will include class and item numbers. They will never include only a class number, okay? Let's go to the next slide. We talked a little bit about the Electronic State Business Daily. This is where purchases are listed. As I said, purchasers will list anything over $25,000. They do the search on the, post on the Electronic State Business Daily, search on the ESBD, and the search is done by the NIGP codes. If you're, again, you can do the search on the NIGP codes by codes or by words. This becomes an official procurement posting site. This is the official posting site for the state of Texas. Those solicitations, as I said, anyone can search for them by agency, by class and item. Oh, let's go to the next slide. And doing a search on the Electronic State Business Daily looks like this. On the top box, you will see the Agency Texas Smart by member name. It could be the Comptroller of Public Accounts. It could be the University of Texas at Arlington. It could be City of Arlington. Cities and counties are able to post on the Electronic State Business Daily as well. It is open to anyone who wants to post there. And so this could be a great posting site to notify anyone within the state of Texas. You can, the purchaser would provide all of this information in their posting, their agency name, the date of the posting, which is over here on this side. When it ends would be on this side. The status, if it's posted, then it's posted. If it's in the award section, it would be in the award section. If it's in the review process, it would be in the review process. As we talked a little bit ago about the NIGP search codes, you could do a search by keyword. So if you don't know what commodity code and you just want to do a search by office supplies because that's what you provide, then you would put in office supplies. If you want to be more specific, you would put pencils and that would help. HVAC, whatever your business does word-wise, you can put it in there. And if there are any solicitation postings up and open, then the search would find it. All agencies and university have a number. I want to say the comptroller's 302 or 304. There are 3 numbers for every state agency and state funded university. So all of those numbers go all the way down to 999. The NIGP class and item code. If the purchaser knows the class and item code, actually the purchaser will know the class and item code. but one purchaser may identify it as one class and item, and another purchaser may identify it as another. It's important for you to know what your NIGP codes are, and then identify the agencies or university that you would do business with, and then visit with them, introduce yourself, and we'll talk about a little more of that business development in just a minute. But you would talk to the agency and say, how would you classify what I do? It's very important that you ask that, because one purchaser may see it different from another, okay? Every solicitation posted has an ID. So a solicitation may be a 5-digit number, it'll have the year in it, and it could be up to 15 digits. So just kind of know that the solicitation number is a way for you to always jot down that solicitation if you're interested. And if you ever need to come back and find it, you can search for it by that solicitation ID. Next slide. Did I miss it? No. There it is. So again, the state's procurement vendor list is the CMBL, Centralized Master Bidders List. Purchasers will search the CMBL and the HUB directory and notify vendors of a procurement opportunity. If you pay the $70 to be a member on the Centralized Master Bidders List and your profile is set up correctly, you will automatically receive the notice. If you're on a HUB directory list, you may not receive a notice automatically. It will be up to you to do the search. So keep that in mind. CMBL is a great tool. There is a cost involved, but it is a little bit of freedom for you not to have to go search for those solicitation notifications. Vendors will register and create their profile using the NIGP code and include all of their contact information. So that profile is listed on your HUB directory list, as well as their centralized master bidders list profile. Next slide. The statewide HUB program has one statute and one administrative code that authorizes the program and administers the rules. So under Texas Government Code 2161, it establishes the statewide HUB program and authorizes the Comptroller of Public Accounts to administer that program. The Texas Administrative Code are the set of rules that the Comptroller's Office establishes to administer this program. Statewide HUB program certifies the small businesses as HUBs, and it compiles all of the agency and state university expenditure information in a semi-annual and annual state HUB expenditure report. We are currently in the process of preparing our fiscal year 2020 annual statewide HUB expenditure report. This is a very important tool for you to use as a resource. It identifies what agencies are purchasing the types of goods or services you provide, and it gives you the opportunity of knowing who is spending what, and if it's something that you're interested in doing, it gives you an idea who your competitors are, and what expenditures are being used for that, are being spent on that. And so it's a tool that can be used in a whole lot of different ways, but mostly for business development, and the small businesses can find out from the agencies how to introduce them to themselves, produce a capability statement, identify, and meet and greet with them. So that's very important. The program provides compliance, training, and outreach assistance to state agency and university HUB programs. So as I stated before, Texas Government Code 2161 establishes the program and authorizes the CPA to administer the program. The administrative code is what we follow it identifies the rules to administer that program, but it also, those are the rules that the state agencies are going to follow. The HUB program is like an umbrella. The statewide HUB program, I have a bug in my face. The statewide HUB program is the umbrella. We oversee, we administer, and we establish the rules. We report on everything they're doing, and we provide education and outreach to assist the agency in their successful HUB program within their agency. All of the agencies are under the umbrella, and they all do the same things in education and outreach, but they use the hubs that Statewide Hub certifies. They use the rules to administer the program. They, many of them follow the goals that the statewide sets for the hub program in purchasing, and some of them may set their own. But it's an intertwined program that all falls under the administration, the umbrella of the administration. And again, as the statewide hub program, we certify the small businesses. We'll go over that criteria in just a minute. We put together all of the expenditures from the agency and deliver that report to the governor, the lieutenant governor, the speaker of the house, and any and all members and committee groups that are interested in receiving that report. One of the committees we send it to is always the Appropriations Committee in the Senate and in the House. They want to know what the state's spending and where and how they're spending with hubs. The statewide hub program also completes compliance on all of our hub certifications, and we make sure that they are all still meeting their criteria throughout their certification period. We provide training and outreach on the procurement processes that include hub, which hub is a part of the whole procurement cycle. We provide outreach assistance to the vendors and the agencies. We assist them in learning how to use the system and learning how to use the tools available. And then we work with the agencies to provide education and training and sometimes co-host events with them. The state agencies and state-funded universities are required to meet the hub programs and establish a hub program within their program. These agencies and universities must have at least $1 million biennial budget, and which many of them do. And so that requires them to establish a hub program. Let's go to the next slide. So in order for a small business to become hub certified, on the hub webpage is a hub reports and forms. Which I'm sorry, we'll try and go to online and see if we can do that in just a little bit. So the application is online. You must print it. You can fill it out online, but you have to print it, save it in your files, and then submit that with all of the supporting documentation that the business structure requires. The checklists for business certification are based on sole proprietorship, limited liability partnership, limited liability company. It could be a partnership, or any other legal business structure. Many of the small businesses will send their notification or their business structure documents to the Secretary of State. We use those Secretary of State files to make sure that what we're receiving with our application are the same, that they're not different. So we request that from the filings that they provide the Secretary of State. We will ask for IRS tax forms, filings. The reason for that is we want to make sure that you are qualified to be a hub. In order to be a hub, you must be 51% minority, woman, or service disabled veteran with a 20% service disability in order to be certified. 51% of that business must be owned by one applicant or more applicants, but 51% must meet the qualifications of certification. There is a size standard to the business. We use the SBA size standard. So depending on the type of business you are and where you're located, will give us there's a chart that gives us a size standard, whether it's gross receipts or employees. We talked about a little bit earlier, your hub profile is created in the hub directory as well as in the CMBL, and it provides a description of who your business is and what you do. Certification is a 4-year certification, and it is a free certification. You just have to meet all the requirements. In order to get recertified, you'll receive a letter from us saying it's time to recertify, and these are the documents that we need to recertify. your business. Usually it's the tax documents to make sure that you meet the size standards. And we ask that if any ownership has changed, that we receive those as well. So there's some information for recertification. Let's go to the next slide. So if you wanted to, now this is a little misleading because we've changed this and I don't think we've changed it on the webpage yet, but when you go to the CPA webpage, you'll see at the top it says purchasing, and that was that drop down list we were talking about a little bit ago. Under the related links, you'll see the CMBL. In order to register for the centralized master bidders list, you can do it online and you make a payment online with a credit card. For HUB certification, because it is free, you really need to print out the application, put together all your documentation, and send it to us by post mail. We cannot receive those by email because some of those files are way too big and way too hard to send to us. So we do ask that they become be sent by mail, post mail, and normally we'd say yes to Federal Express or UPS, but we are all still working from home and will be for the rest of this year. So unless something really changes drastically, we're all expected to work from home for the rest of this year. So the one thing that we do require on the documents, it says that it must be notarized. We have waived the notary at this time. And as soon as we get into our new system, which will be next year, the notary will be canceled. So we have let go of the notary. There's no requirement for notary certificate for your notary public stamp on it. You can just send it to us. There's enough documentation that says you're giving us what's true and correct. So right now the process for certification is a 6 to 8 week process. I'm sorry that's so long, but we're just receiving so many applications coming in. Probably because I'm doing a lot of these certification visits like this one, which my certification people are yelling me, where are all these hubs? Where are these hubs coming from? But anyway, I'm keeping them very busy. And I really, if I can help anybody with their application, I'll give you my contact information, be happy to help with that. And Charles is gonna have all of this information so you can call him too. Right, Charles? Okay. Let's go to the next slide. So as I said before, the profile is very important to identify yourself on the CPA system, the centralized master bidders list and the HUB directory. This gives, again, it's the resources that are available to help you find the opportunities. They're free resources, but in order for them to find you after you go present yourself, that profile is important for them to find you. They also use that profile when they do a contract award with you and they have to report. They have to submit those profiles with their supporting documentation. So let's go to the next slide. I think I picked the wrong presentation because we've done a lot of this. We're going to skip this because we've already talked about it. So let's go on to the next one. Good faith effort. Once you get HUB certified and government code and TAC rules, we call it Texas Administrative Code, we call it TAC rules. Those rules require that any procurement, even those under 25, must receive a good faith effort to include hubs in those procurement. So let me say that again. All of the state procurements require some form of good faith effort. Any purchase over $25,000 has a little bit more of a good faith effort that they have to actually document. So HUB certification simply requires that you're included in the solicitation competitive opportunity, but it doesn't require that they have to give you a contract. The statewide HUB program is not a set-aside program. It is a good faith effort to market and do some business development for your business to be included. The HUB directory is free. So while the CMBL is a $70 fee, Hub certification provides the Hub directory for free with the NIGP codes. And let's go to the next slide. On the Hub page, you will see a calendar of events. This calendar of events is really what it says. It's a calendar, a monthly calendar that you can see throughout a whole year. And anyone throughout the state of Texas, anybody like your chamber, Charles, I don't think I told you this, but we can post your event on there, and then hubs know to go to that event calendar to find events. With COVID, it has kind of fallen off a little bit, but we're trying to get it back up so that hub vendors know where to find information and where to find events. If somebody wants to learn how to do capabilities statement, or if somebody wants to learn the procurement process, how do I complete my solicitation bid response? All of those events are listed at some of those events, and that is what the calendar of events is. They're not all hub. They could be the small business, they could be PTAC, it could be chambers from different regions. So all different kinds of people will post that. You'll see cities post and counties post there as well. So anyone can post on there. Another resource for hubs, while any small business can contact a hub coordinator, any large business can contact a hub coordinator. They are there to support the small businesses that are hub certified. The hub coordinators are an arm within the procurement program of the agencies and university that are available to help the small businesses, the hubs that are certified. They can walk you through the procurement process. They can help you in completing your capabilities statement. You can use them for introductions to the agency or the university. They also evaluate the solicitations to make sure that a good faith effort is met in every single one of those responses. There are different thresholds. 25,000 is a posting that goes in there. They still have to contact 3 hubs and give them notice and an opportunity to respond. But any solicitation that's over $100,000 requires a lot more documentation and a lot more good faith effort. They have to complete what's called a hub subcontracting plan if there's any subcontracting opportunities. That's a little bit, I don't know if we'll get into it on this presentation, but it's a little tedious. So if we need to do that, we can do that on another presentation. The hub coordinator list can be found on the hub page, and I'll see if we can go to that in a little bit. The hub expenditure reports, those are the semi-annual and the annual reports that I told you are a good tool to have. Those are listed on the web page, on the hub web page, and there are always 4 full years listed, and the 5th one is always the current fiscal year that we're in. So right now you'll have 4 full years of hub reports, semi and annual, and then we have the first annual report that will come out here in November. There's an additional link to the LBB contract search. We're going to go through that a little quickly, but we're not going to do a whole lot on it. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the hub coordinator list and the hub forms and the calendar of events. If you go to the hub page on the comptroller.texas.gov page and you go into purchasing, you will find a hub link that will take you here. These related links are on the right-hand side. So you'll see the calendar of events that we talked about. You'll see certification process there. You'll see the hub reports and forms. This takes you to the hub reports that I was talking about for the 4 years and the current year. And it also takes you to the forms. So you will find the application there, the hub application. You will find a checklist for the business structure that will tell you all the documents that you have to provide for your business structure for certification. It will have a hub subcontracting plan. So it has the form that has to be done. And any other form that the coordinators and the purchasers use are posted right there. If you go to the Hub Resources link, it takes you to this page. And on this page, right there, blue circled in red on the left-hand side, that's the Hub Coordinator list. That is a contact list for you to contact the Hub coordinators by agency. There's an email address, there's a phone number. It may even include a purchasing director and an email or a phone number. That coordinator list is good for you to use as a hub to introduce yourself. Set up a time to visit with them. Let them know who you are. This is what you provide, and what kind of procurements do they have available for you. That's kind of what that is. It's a foot in the door to the agency. It's a resource for you to use within the agency and the university. They have to be limited on what they can do when their solicitation is open, but they can assist you in any way that doesn't conflict with those purchasing requirements. Let's go to the next page. So we talked about the Texas Legislative Budget Board, the LBB. This is the state agency that they don't assist, but they are charged with being responsible for what the legislature sets as the state's biennial budget. It identifies what money goes to every single agency. It identifies contracts that every agency has. It tells you what agencies are spending, how they're spending it, and what was given to them by the legislature. So that's this tool. Let's go to the next slide. If you click on the contracts on the yellow line up at the top, if you click on the contracts link, it'll take you to this. You can search by agency, you can search by contract. If you have a contract number and want to know who got it, when does that contract expire, and if it's going to expire, next year, then it's time to start contacting the agency to let them know who you are, because you can actually get in to make sure, get your name on a contact list so you know what's happening with that contact, and they will notify you of that contract when it's posted. So if that's something you're interested, that's a tool for you. Let's go to the next slide. Once you get into their search engine, this is what you're going to find. You get to search by fiscal year, you get to search by agency, you get to search by vendor ID. Once you get a certification or you get a CMBL registration, you get a vendor ID. This is how the state of Texas pays anyone who has any kind of a contract with the state. You can search by a vendor name. These are tools that you can use to find out if you only know a little bit or you know a lot. That's what you would use. Let's go to the next one. Next slide. So in reviewing the procurement review, we talked a little bit about the Electronic State Business Daily. This is where normally I would be asking all of you, what is the Electronic State Business Daily? So the Electronic State, I'm going to answer it for you. The Electronic State Business Daily is where purchasers will post solicitations over $25,000. Any state agency and any state-funded university will post on this website to let the general public know that there is a solicitation available for bidding. They will use purchasers will use the centralized master bidders list. This is the state's official vendor list for solicitations. They are required by statute. The purchasers are required by statute to search the centralized master bidders list to provide notifications. They are not required to search the Hub directory, but they are required to provide a good faith effort. So many purchasers search centralized master bidders list and the Hub directory. But if it's one of those big lists, there's usually hubs that pay for the centralized master bidders list. And so they get to do it there too. They get to pop up on that list as well. The good faith effort is required to provide assistance to the hubs in their ability to compete. They are just included. It's up to you to compete, but you're included in that opportunity. So On texas.gov, this is the state of Texas official website. And you'll find COVID-19 information. You'll find some agency information, emergency management information. Some emergency solicitations go into that site. So if you get a chance, go and look at it and see if it has anything for you. Other important links and agencies for the small businesses is the Texas Workforce Commission. There's a link to them. The Association of Procurement and Technical Assistance. They work with small businesses and local chambers and other resources regionally, cities and counties and state entities within the regions. And they provide all kinds of free training for the small business. So they could help with capability statements. They can help with the procurement process. They may even help you prepare a solicitation response. It just depends on what they have available. So that's another resource. And that's really something probably that, Charles, you guys do for your members as well. So I think it's very similar to what you all are doing. Next slide, please. So what I didn't say a little bit ago is the PTACs are offices within universities that are funded by federal grants. So that's why they're free to the small business. The Small Business Administration also provides free services for the small businesses. I think recently they had the PPP, Paycheck Protection Plan. They had the rules for that. The EIDL, they had the assistance, loan assistance. They had the bridge loans information and the debt relief. Another program that SBA has that's funded by grants is called the LIFT Fund. So in order to find out about all of that, you would contact the Small Business Administration. Next slide. So that's the end of my presentation. And again, I think we kind of went in a backwards way, but if you get HUB certified, you are certified as a small business, then you want to contact the HUB coordinators, let them know who you are, introduce yourself, set up a video chat with them to see what kind of opportunities you have. It may be that you start in a subcontracting opportunity. A lot of those sub opportunities will turn into prime awards. So find out from the agencies what they're doing. It's a shortcut to the contract searches, but sometimes they may send you there. It depends on the program. But there's a lot of tools that you can use, a lot of resources available. HUB is not a set aside. It is simply a good faith effort. So with that, there's my contact information on the next slide, or the last slide. And Charles will have this presentation, so if he needs to use it, he can. Does anybody have questions?
Okay.
Oh, we got a lot of questions.
Yeah, we do have some questions. Patrina, can you speak? There you are. Patrina, unmute yourself, please. Let me tell you about HUB before we get to the questions. So I've been in Arlington for about 5 years now. And when I became HUB certified, one of the things you have to be is visible. So I was visible, and there were some prime contractors that had that over $25,000 contract that they were bidding on. Now, they were the prime, and they asked me to be the sub as a HUB. So in those contracts, I would do the coaching, the training, and those type of things. And then there's some other things that they were bidding on. So if you're visible, if you're out there, if people know what you do and how you do it, then some of these prime contractors that have those $25,000 and over bids will contact you. And I've been contacted a few times. So it's kind of more of a partnership. If you're a small business, it's more of a partnership than for you to take that $25,000 and up. Now, if you can handle that, God bless you. All right, I'm a person of faith. If you can handle that, God bless you. Go for it. And if you need our help, we'll definitely help you out. Okay. Patrina, did you go ahead? Questions?
Nope. Okay, so we have one question. I was able to facilitate that. Mariah Montgomery asked, "Hello, will we be able to watch the recording?" I informed her, yes, that this is being recorded, so it'll be available to all attendees on this presentation. Then the next question actually will be for Maya. Oh, is there something else?
And Maya, I'll try to pull up some of those websites while you answer questions.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Go to the CPA web.
This is from Tamara Miller. If I'm coming from basically another state, can I still get certified here? I'm new to the state as of this week, but I've been trying to get these certs for months now.
So at this time, our certification requires a 1-year Texas resident. I didn't have it on this presentation, but criteria for HUB certification is you must be a U.S. citizen, you must be a Texas resident. So I guess if you're coming from another state, you have to establish your residency. After this session, I think we're going to change that to 6 months, but right now it is still a 1-year requirement. You must be 51% owner and control of the day-to-day operations. The business must be primarily based in Texas. So the home base has to be in Texas. It can be in other states, but the owner and the business has to be based in Texas.
And Tamara asked the next question, which is, what is the website to submit the application? And that will be available via the information, or we can type it in at the very bottom of the chat so you can get that information as well.
Okay, so you can get the application on site right now, but currently we do not have a way to accept an application online. It must be post-mailed right now. We are in the process of implementing a new system where all the certification will be online and all of your documents can be uploaded into that system. But we have just started the implementation of that, and it's probably going to take about another 8 months to get that completed. So sorry, but your recertification can be done online.
Okay. So Maya, here you said that twice, and I have a question about that, because you said it has to be mailed, but if you all are working from home, where do they mail it?
The office. I have staff that goes in once a week.
Okay.
But they're spread out, so there's never more than, we have 2 offices, and there's never more than 1 person in one part of the office. Only 2 people can be there at a time, and that's for the safety of our employees too. So I still have people coming into the office to receive mail on a daily basis.
Okay, so you do get it, it just takes a little longer.
It's just taking a little bit longer, right? But we do get it. We do check our mail on a daily basis. As soon as we get the applications, the envelopes are open, date stamped. They're put into a register that we have, and it kind of goes through the system, and then they get assigned to a certification analyst.
And I have another question also, and hopefully I can make this sequence. I see your hand raised. I'll get you here in a second, okay?
Yeah.
So here's the other question. You said that there's a HUB expenditure report, annual and semi-annual. So in 2019, when we were in a normal, can you tell us how much money was spent with HUBs in 2019?
I can't tell you off the top of my head, but we can go in there and look at it.
Okay. Can you give us
So you can
I have it up.
website.
Okay. Thank you. Sequence. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself.
Okay, so we're a nonprofit organization, and so is HUBs really for only for-profit? So would this not be anything that we should worry about trying to get certified for as a nonprofit?
Unfortunately, one of the requirements that it's a for-profit small business. Yes, okay. That's in statute, so I can't change it.
Okay.
Now, Sequence, the Arlington Black Chamber of Commerce has nonprofit training, right, Mr. Jackson? We did some BC before COVID.
Oh, okay.
DC, we haven't done any, but we will do some AC after COVID.
We were able to do 6 months worth of training for minority run nonprofits due to the fact that we realized that most minority-run nonprofits are all self-funded, and we're getting very few grants. And so we covered everything from grant writing to having trainings from the granting agencies themselves. So we'll probably need to do something soon for our nonprofits again, because we just had North Texas Giving Day on the 17th. And I believe there should be something, the next big deadline coming up should be around the end of October. So please ask a question, put your questions also in the chat so that we can make sure we follow up with you. And just check our page so that we'll make sure that we cover that area for you.
Okay.
Because we've got several nonprofit members.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Go ahead, Patrina.
We don't have any additional questions at the moment, but I just wanted to remind those individuals who have not had the opportunity to share your business information, your name, your contact, your email, so that we can follow up with you and answer the question if you are able or if you're interested in obtaining your HUB certification, so that we can, our chamber is able to assist you with this.
Okay, I have a quick question from my end.
Okay.
Okay, so pre-COVID, it was my understanding that all state agencies, school districts, hospital districts, colleges and universities, cities, counties, were all mandated since 1995 to use HUB certified businesses. Is that still the case?
No. So HUB certification has always only been for state agencies and state-funded universities. Some cities and counties can choose to follow the HUB program and set up their own program based on the HUB rules. They have to adopt that within council or commission meetings. So it's really up to the cities and counties, but they're not mandated to follow the statewide HUB programs. It's only the state-funded agencies and universities who receive money in the biennial budget from the legislature.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else chooses to.
So when it comes to the cities and counties, whether they choose to or not, do you have a listing of the ones that actually do?
I have some that I don't keep a list of who follows it, because they have to vote that in their own councils or commission meetings. The counties have commission meetings, councils in the city. If they're a city or a county that is very involved with us, then I know who they are. So I know the city of Austin does that, and they also have a memorandum agreement on certifications, so they share those certifications with us. But that's why I know about the city of Austin. I don't know what other cities follow it, because they're not required to report to us. They do their own reporting.
And that's a lot of numbers. So because we pretty much look at Dallas, Tarrant, Ellis, Collin, Denton, mostly with not just our members, but what we try to do with our major cities. I know for a fact that there are 41 municipalities in Tarrant County and over 28 cities and towns in Dallas County. So, like I say, it can get pretty expansive. So,
most of the cities and counties have their own program for the small business. It may not be identical to the HUB program. They may have established their own small business program, small business diversity program. They may do their own disparity study. And if they're doing their own disparity study, that means they're setting up a program very similar to the statewide HUB program, because ours is on a disparity study that identifies where the disparities are in procurement and with whom the disparity exists. So establishing a HUB-related program for small businesses and diversity usually requires them to do a diversity study, a disparity study.
Okay. So we have some more questions, Mr. Jackson. Maya, we have some questions here. Mr. Bryant, he wrote, please put page info in chat. Our connection is choppy. So I'm trying to clarify which information you're asking for. Are you available to speak?
My contact information, probably.
Yes. Yeah, I'm here. I'm the one that put that in there. My connection is very choppy, so I've only gotten bits and pieces. I think Montez put the comptroller.gov website, and I did take a screenshot of Maya's contact information. For everything that I felt like I've missed, am I able to send an email and possibly kind of get a brief overview of what was discussed? I've been on here, but like I said, I'm in a rural area, so the connection is very choppy.
I understand that. I'm in a rural area too. So they're going to have the recording with them, and then that my information, you can send me an email. We'll set up a time to visit depending on what you need, or we can work through Charles, set up a meeting that way. Either way.
Okay, thank you very much. Because I'm in the Arlington area. I am a small business, minority owned as well, and so I know y'all have a lot of information. From what I got, it was very, very useful and helpful. And for somebody that's starting and everything else, I definitely want to become part of this. HUB certified in any other information that I can. So I really appreciate y'all putting this together. And I want to make sure that I utilize it to the utmost. So I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay.
So
you can
what
send
I'll
me
do-
an email, send it to Charles, and we'll set up a meeting that's just specific to your needs.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, and what I'll do is I'll work with Mr. Jackson. Either we'll put this recording on my YouTube page or on the Arlington Black Chamber of Commerce page, so you all can go to it. So we'll work that.
Okay, next question, Faustina. Can Maya talk more about the collaboration from the startup subcontractor perspective, please?
For subcontracting, I'm assuming she's talking about solicitations that are over $100,000 that require the HUB subcontracting plans, which means the prime vendor has to provide a written description of the subcontracting plan. It identifies what each of these subs are doing, what kind of work they're providing, what percentage they're providing in the contract. Is that what she's asking?
Are you on online, Faustina?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, yes. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Such great information, Maya. Like for a new, startup business wanting to get into, wanting to partner with an existing business, but the startup is the one really with the technical expertise. How should they go about that? So it's the information from that startup perspective that I really wanted to find out about. What would be the process for them to start or partner with a prime contractor?
So a prime means that they have a contract with the state entity. So what I would suggest that you do is prepare a capability study and take that to the HUB coordinators. Introduce yourself to the HUB coordinators, let them know what you do and what you're interested in doing, and what you can provide, and let them know that you're interested in a subcontracting opportunity and or a mentor-protege agreement. So a mentor-protege means that you will have a larger business, generally tends to be a prime contractor, that will mentor your business as their sub to grow your business. The only opportunity that's there for the prime and the sub is when they're bidding bidding a solicitation with the agency that's sponsoring. Let's just say it's UT Arlington. They've got a solicitation out, and the prime vendor, they know who the primes that are going to attend because they had a pre-bid meeting. They all signed in as primes. You want to go to that pre-bid meeting, no matter, even if you're going to be a sub. They're going to identify a list of primes that attend, and you can always contact the HUB coordinator and say, okay, I need to know who's there as a prime, who can I talk to, who can I introduce myself to, how do I contact the prime to see what opportunities are there for me.
Okay.
That's where
Next. Okay, next question. I think C. Russell. Were you needing assistance from Miss Maya? You're asking, you said, I'm trying to sign up for HUB. Did you want to elaborate more on that?
No, I just thought you were saying, you know, people that want to get involved. Message.
Okay, perfect.
All right, for sure.
There is an 800 number, and I don't know if it's on my contact information or if it's on the CPA Hub page, but there is an 800 number for the statewide hub. My certification analysts will answer that phone. So if anybody needs assistance with certification, you can call them. They'll guide you to find the form. You can fill out the form, and they'll guide you to the checklist with all of the information that needs to be included with your application. One important thing that I want to stress: if you're sending in an application and you have a checklist of information to send, do not send that application in without any of that supplemental documentation included in that package of information. If you do send something that's missing, it will delay your certification. They cannot complete the review until everything's there. So though we're on a 6 to 8 week process right now, if an application's not complete, you could be going to 10 or 12 weeks. So just be sure that you're including all of the information your business structure recommends.
And your team will walk us through that, correct?
Yes.
On the 1-800 number?
Yes, yes.
You
And
want
if
to give me
not,
that
just
number
give
one
me
more
a call.
time?
My 800 number,
Oh,
I don't know it off the top of my head.
I can get it off the, don't worry about it. I can get it off.
It's on, I can't read my business card. I don't have my glasses on.
I'll get
It's
it
on
off.
the website. Yeah, it's on the website.
Oops.
Okay, we want to continue to answer the rest of these questions as quickly as possible. I think this one is more towards Charles. RH is located in Plano. Will he or she be able to utilize this service? And I need elaboration on service, i.e. Arlington Black Chamber, or should I search for opportunities in my area? RH, are you still online? Can you elaborate more on as to what you're asking? Because you should be able to pursue anything in the state of Texas, but you shouldn't be limited. And Arlington Black Chamber can definitely assist anyone, even if you're located in Plano. So I can definitely attest to that.
Okay, I'm online. Thanks. I just wanted to know if I know you mentioned that you were doing some training with nonprofits. I have a nonprofit organization, and you all held trainings before COVID and are looking to get those started back up. And I just wanted to see if I would be able to attend. I didn't know if I needed to do area specific, if resources were just for the Arlington businesses.
Not at all. We work with all nonprofits. We had literally someone who flew in from Oklahoma City to work with us one day. So our events are always open, and we don't put restrictions on them. And the purpose is to make sure that no matter where we meet you, we're able to move you forward in a positive way. So our number one rule is that documentation beats conversation any day. So we don't want to be working with the same businesses that we meet. So if we know and have worked with you over the course of, say, 2020, we don't want to be dealing with you in startup mode anymore. You should have a lot more resources and a lot more knowledge about what you're doing to advance not just your mission or your service or product, but we want to make sure that you're able to develop new opportunities for yourself and along with us. So, and although there are 7 Black and or minority chambers in North Texas, like I mentioned in our intro, we have had success in every major city in North Texas, helping our members and associates and partners find opportunities in North Texas.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you very much. Okay. Juan Kimla Robinson. Hi, I am a new business owner. I'd like to understand why the SBA is saying we have to get certified by October. I'm not sure. SBA.
So I'm guessing that's a federal fiscal year. I think they start in October.
They do.
I'm not sure. And so they're wanting to get everybody certified before their fiscal year starts. But that's what I'm guessing. I don't know enough about the federal certification, but I'm guessing that's what it is.
Thank you.
And Maya, I copied this from your slide, the HUB toll-free number, and it has an extra
Great.
number. I have 0588, and there's a 1 after. Is it extension 1 or something like that?
It shouldn't be.
Okay. I copied that straight from your slide. So
The fax number and the other one is an office number.
okay.
I'll have to go look at it.
We'll email that out. So here's
My other
here's
computer.
Montez, I have a quick question for Maya, if I can.
Okay.
Question. We get information requests from prime contractors all the time, specifically in construction. And my question is, are there any recourses HUB certified minority-owned firms can take if they are used to obtain a bid by a prime and get muscled out of the money side of the equation on the backside? So is there any is there a reporting function where if the HUB certified company is dissatisfied with the partnership that just happened in a wrongful fashion?
So if it's non-payment related, you should contact the HUB coordinator of the program. If it's non-compliant, you should contact the agency. But you should also contact your state legislator and ask them to make this program more enforceable. It is simply a marketing program that's good faith effort.
So there's no punitive or better business filing or?
No, that's a whole different story. Some agencies will make sure that all of that's done, and they're supposed to be using the HUB subcontracting to make sure that they're paying them based on that HUB subcontracting plan. But I still get letters and emails and phone calls from HUBs who are listed as subs, and they're supposed to be getting this work, and they never get called to do it, and the contract's finished, and all of a sudden, we've done none of the work.
Mm-hmm.
And so to that, I say, you should be letting the agency know, because if you haven't gotten paid anything, they can't report anything. And part of that plan is part of the contract. So that's up to the agency, but there's very little we can do.
Okay.
And if I heard you correctly, you said contact your legislator. So on the back end of that, I heard that we need to vote.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. I heard it. I don't know if anybody else heard it. So
Before you vote, make sure you go get registered.
Register to vote and then vote. Sorry, this front end.
Okay. So one of our amazing advocate out there, Belina Willis-Smith, she's the MWBE coordinator for Dallas ISD, shared information regarding SBA. So any SBA related question, I've uploaded or I've added in a public chat for everyone to contact Ahmad Gori, and he can answer any questions related to SBA.
Great.
Okay. Great.
So Montez, the telephone lines for HUB,
Yep.
the 888 phone number, 888-863-5881
Yep.
is the general toll-free line for the program. And the local line is 512-463-5872. Those are general phone numbers for the statewide HUB program, and you could get any one of the team members that are there, and they
Okay.
can all assist.
I'm sorry, I didn't copy that one down. Hopefully Patrina got that one. I was working on something else. Did you get it?
I will roof.
It should be.
512-463-5372 is the local direct, and then 888-863-5881. I will type that in the chat.
That is the toll-free number. Yes, that's correct.
Got it. So before we get off of here, one thing I'm a numbers guy, and Mr. Jackson's a numbers guy too. you said somewhere on the website are the numbers for what, how much money was spent with hubs? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it on the
So-
comptroller website?
On the comptroller's website, under the vendor resources, you go to historically underutilized. There you go. Go to purchasing, but don't tap on it. Just put your cursor there. Under vendor resources, the third one down is hub. Click on that.
Mhm.
And on the right-hand side, under related links, if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see hub reports and forms, and you want to hit the hub reports. I can't read yours, so I'm going to hit mine.
Hub reports.
And then once you get to that purchasing page, you'll see hub forms and hub publications. The very first one under hub publications is hub reports. If you
Okay.
click on that, it'll take you to 4 years of semi-annual and annual hub reporting. And then the first link for this fiscal year, which will not be posted until November 15th.
He's gonna do that to me. Hold on. Okay, so let's look at 2019. So
Okay.
if we look at that one, statewide totals, is that what I'm looking
That's
for? Okay.
the annual report. Okay, so yes, you'll go to statewide totals, or if you already know the agencies you want to identify with, then you would scroll down a little further and look for the agencies listing by state agencies or by state number, agency number. And there's a consolidated report and a detailed report. For the total the state spends, let me see, which one would have? Go to the executive summary.
Executive summary. Would that still
So
be?
click on 2019,
Gotcha.
the very first one, annual report, to open that up.
Yep, that's the PDF. Okay.
Yeah, and if you open the PDF, it gives you all of the information, the executive summary. I'm opening up right now, and it says the total statewide expenditures, and it has the total expenditures for FY19, FY18, and FY17. And it gives you a total expenditure with hub, and a percentage that is spent with hub. And that's
So
a statewide.
Montez, we're not able to see the PDF, just an FYI.
Okay, thank you. Let me stop the share. It froze on me because of that.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll read this to you all. 2019, the hub percentage rate was 12.77. And let me see if I can bring it back up. Might have froze. All right, somebody give me a thumbs up if you can see the PDF.
Yes. It's hard to read,
Okay,
but the total, let's go with FY19, there's $21 billion that was spent with the state, that the state spent. And then the total expenditure was hub was $2,684,434,187.
okay,
So out of the total expenditure, 12.77% of that $21 billion was spent with hubs.
okay. Now, and here's what I want to say, okay? When you look at $2.6 million, $2.6 million, and right now I have 35 people on here, and I know 2 of them are coordinators, at least 2. If you look at $2.6 million between the 35 of us, wouldn't that be pretty good? It takes some work. It takes some work. And
It does.
And what I want to, the thing we didn't look at, Maya, is most of our small business owners are service providers and not necessarily construction. We do have some construction people, but most of our small business owners are service providers. So we would have to take the construction piece out and see how we can get our service providers in there. But we got to grow our service providers to know how to work with construction folks, because I would offer to you the construction people need your services. Okay. And see, that's a
Well,
partnership that we have to put together.
Charles, I'd like to get with Laura Cagle over at HHSC because they have so many service dollars right now that they're spending. And if that's what the majority of your membership is looking for right now, then we need to get her to do a procurement schedule, whether it's in construction or something else, and let's get her to talk to you about what they have. And there's probably other agencies that I can get to assist and participate in that.
Sounds good. So what I've kind of laid out what the next 3 to 4 weeks are going to look like for us. So as we get closer to the World Series,
Capabilities.
Capability statement training. Thank you. Because that may be more of a hot topic in the next 3 weeks than anything. And then we'll definitely be looking to line up as many free resource calls as possible, because we want to make sure that we're able to not just host these, but be able to direct that traffic your way, so people are actually getting the opportunities either sent to them or being a part of the process. So, because most nonprofits are so busy working in their business that they rarely get an opportunity to work on their business. So anything we can do, we're happy to do. So especially during these, to quote, was there a total dollar amount, something like that, for a HUB certified business? So is that,
it's hard to give you an exact number for a specific business. It's something that you really need to search for, because while one agency will use it, it could be that 4 or 5 agencies are doing it, are using a certain kind of service. And I'm just thinking Health and Human Services Commission, Child and Family Protective Services, LBB contracts. To do a search that way, you can go into the HUB report and find out by purchasing code, who's purchasing those purchases. There's different ways of finding that, but know that there's not only one agency that's purchasing anything.
I believe the question had more to do with, is there like a limit to how much money a small business, does a HUB certified business have to be a small business? And is there a financial limit that they have to make within a certain year? Can they make untold amounts of money as a HUB certified business? Is there a cap? Or?
Our small business size standards are based on the SBA size standards. So if you go into the SBA, I want to say it's 34 something. It's in our, I can get that number for you. I can get that link for you. But yes, there is a gross receipts, and that SBA chart shows if you can use only gross receipts or if you can do it by employee size as well. But we follow the SBA size standard.
The person who asked the question was LaTrenda Rush. So I caught that question. And I'm not sure if I represented it properly, but I actually did not know that there was a small business requirement and gross receipts requirement when it comes to HUB certification. So
yes, there is.
Okay.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Montez.
No, I was going to ask the same question. Any other questions? I'm going to. Okay.
So there is under SBA.gov, there is the size standards, and there is a table of size standards, and that's what we use. The one from August of 2019 is a size standard table from the SBA. What?
No, I was going to say, does the size standard have to do with the number of employees?
No.
Or
it can. Based on the table size charts, it tells you if you can use the gross receipts or the employee. The employees are gross receipts.
Okay.
That table it states what has to be followed.
Okay.
Great question.
I know, outstanding. Because like I said, I didn't even realize that was an issue as far as gross receipts or size of the contracts. Or is that bound by the fiscal year?
It's by fiscal year, but we use it by we look at every fiscal year, but we look at 2 fiscal years. Actually, I take it back. I think we look at 4 fiscal years. It's not just 1.
And can you tell us what that number is? So, I mean, in the Black business perspective, over 90% of all Black-owned businesses in the state of Texas are small businesses, based on the 2014 study done by the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce. And so, as small business owners, a majority of our members are, okay, I'm looking at non-manufacturing, no more than 7.5 million. Okay, so I was going to ask what the specific number is. So 7.5 million, under 500 employees, some exceptions based on NAICS codes. Okay, thank you, Yolanda Rocio. So that was in the chat. I was sitting there talking and reading at the same time. I apologize. But my question was being answered in real time.
Okay. So let's give Maya a hand, please. Thank you so much for all the information that you've given us.
Montez,
Yes.
can I interrupt? I see we have Miss Linda Gray from SCORE on here, and see if she wants to make a statement before they leave. I don't know when they got on, but.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, I am Linda Gray. I am a minority certified mentor, and definitely a personal interest is really to help recruit minority mentors, because it would definitely help increase and grow our minority businesses. So that, and particularly in the African American community, and SCORE is actually funded by the Small Business Administration. That's where we get our federal allocations, and we do have a mandate from the Small Business Administration, because there are dollars allocated for diversity and inclusion. And so I am so grateful to be on. Thank you, Charles, for inviting me. And also I want to thank the presenter. I'm telling you, this is my first time hearing good, direct, clear information to really help small businesses. And we're talking about entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. And then I think Faustina asked the question about being able for us, the ones who provide service industry, businesses, service related businesses. It really is a good opportunity that we should get involved in being able to be a sub to provide those services. So thank you very much. And I'm going to stop because I can talk all day. So I'll stop. But thank you so much.
You're welcome. Montez?
All right. I am frozen on my end, but hopefully you all can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So we want to thank Miss Maya Ingram for her for everything that she's given us, and I wanted to give her a round of applause. All right. So on behalf of the Arlington Black Chamber of Commerce, we want to thank you for being on here. And like I said before, if we look at the numbers, if everybody does the work that they're supposed to do and they become HUB certified, each of us can get a piece. It's not about competition. It's about being the best that you can be.